What is going on YouTube? Will Bowley, hanging out, having fun. We're up here at Mad Vapes in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I've got a lot of toys here. I got a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about all this stuff, and you know, there's a lot going on up here. You know, from the very beginning to the very end here, there's a lot going on here, and what we're going to talk about is the differences and the progression of the devices. You know, just kind of the differences between them, what each different kind of device can do, what, you know, kind of not really cost benefit analysis, but like pro and con. Yeah, there we go. Pro and con. What they do, what they don't do, what their limitations are, if there are limitations, and how it affects how you like to vape. So what we're going to start off with is what I have dubbed the all-in-one starter kit, cig-alike, if you will. I know it's not really a cig-alike, but it does the same thing, a little different way. And we're going to go all the way up to dripping on a mechanical tube. So we're going to start with this guy. This is the eleaf iCare. Alright, and with these style devices, you're going to have a very small, slick device, built-in battery, so you don't have to worry about taking the battery in and out. This is a pass-through device, and what we mean by pass-through is you can plug this guy up into the wall so it's charging, and you can still vape on it. Pass-throughs are very, you know, nice to start out on, because that's the biggest reason why people don't find success in vaping, is they don't, you know, they're not used to, you know, the battery charging cycle. You know, I have to charge these all the time. All right, well, yeah, it's kind of part of vaping, brother. That's what you do. You charge batteries. You kill them, you charge them. With this guy, you have pass-through capabilities so that you can vape it and charge it at the same time. Also, with these cig-alike style, or auto draws, if you will, you're going to have onboard e-liquid carrying. And with this guy, you've got your tank here. You simply fill your liquid up in this hole, up to the line, right there. Stick this guy back down in there with a coil attached to it, adjust your airflow where you want to tighten it down, and you're done. Alright, what that means, a little bit longer, a little bit more spread out. The device holds its own liquid, so you don't have to worry about an external tank coming off or anything like that. It's all built in. It's all very nice, soft, and compact. A lot of people like starting off this way because it is very minimal keep up. It is very high ease of use. Can be a little low on the vapor and flavor chart, a little low, but it's convenient and it's easy to start. Now granted, the iCare does have superior flavors to its other cig-alike or auto draw brothers and sisters because of the very cool technique design they put in this. Alright, you know, it is a little bit geared more towards better flavor, because these cig-alikes have a tendency to be higher in nicotine. You know, I use one of these guys. This is actually my personal one. Right, y'all? Same color, different mod. Promise, not deucing you here. But I run an 8 milligram in this guy. A little bit higher nicotine. Nice smooth draw. No buttons, no nothing. Look, no hands. Very simple, very easy. I like them, but I don't love them. This is what I love, and we're going to get to why here in just a little bit. The next, you know, kind of logical progression from the iCare might be something like this Artery SummaKid. This SummaKid. Very similar to your Kangaroo knee boxes, but without the leak. With these, you still keep that nice onboard tank holding. You know, so it holds its own liquid, which is really nice. But we've added some buttons. Alright, we've added some buttons. You've got your firing button, and then with this guy, you've got adjustable wattage, variable wattage, also temperature control. And what that does is it gives you a little bit more ease of use, a little bit more customization to how you want your vape to behave, what you're looking for out of the vaping experience. So with this guy, you've got the potential, one, to make bigger clouds, because it does use a sub-ohm coil. It also has much more open airflow compared to the iCare, but you can get a lot more power out of it. And the reason you can is because this guy uses a external 18650. And what you do, break out my keys here. I got my old cheater coin to get this battery door off. But if you look right there, you see that guy? Little slot. to where you can pop in an 18650 battery. Now, with that being said, this is still a pass-through device, so you can still charge it still use it while you're charging it, but it does run off of an external battery. Now, there are some pros and cons to that. The pros to that, if something bad happens to the battery, whether it stops working, maybe you short-circuit it, something like that, you can just replace the battery. It's simple, it's easy, there's nothing to it. There's your battery, 18650. Some disadvantages of that, you got to charge the battery. Alright, you have to. These 18650s, once they get so low, they just kind of stop working, especially in these regulated devices. The chipset won't let that battery drain too low. But I like having an external battery, one, because I can use an external charger and charge multiple batteries, and if my battery dies, I can just throw a fresh one in and I'm good to go. There's no downtime where I'm not vaping. Get this guy turned on. That's the way I like to do it. You can ask anybody who has come up to the shop and hung out with me. I keep a bunch of batteries. You'll never see me without at least 5 batteries on my person. I vape a lot, go through a lot of batteries. It's kind of how it is. But here's your nice display screen, and as you can see, you can adjust your wattage where you want it to be, customizing your vape just a little bit more. Now you say, well, Will, there's a big difference between these two guys. Huge difference. I want something in between. That's where there's something like this guy here comes in. This is the Kanger SummaKid kit. It is a pin style device, although it is a bigger pin. When with this guy, what makes it kind of unique and different from the others that we've looked at, you can change the tank. Whether you want to put a Cleto on here or something like that, you can put whatever you'd like on here. With the other two devices we've looked at, they're kind of constricted because it does hold its own liquid inside the device. Nice pass-through charging, charges with a micro USB. And with this guy, there's no adjustments or anything like that. You've got your firing button here, and as you can tell, it fires. Pops, crackles, real good, it vapes. 5 clicks turns her on, 5 clicks turns her off. Simple and easy. Now the device is off, it won't do anything at all. But if I turn it back on, the LED light comes back on to indicate that it is working, and it will fire. So this is a kind of good in between these guys. You've got your eleaf iCare, your Kanger SummaKid, and your Artery Vapor Summa. Now, if you want to get up, a little bit more advanced, a little bit more customizable. There we go. That one's actually a word. Customizable, not customization. That's not a word. You can't just make up your own words. Twisted 420. You just can't do it. Man, that's good. Let me just take a brief second for a shameless plug for one of my favorite e-liquids on the face of the planet, made by one of my favorite people on the face of the planet. I want to give a big shout out over to Eric at Marlin Steen for this wonderful creation here, Drip Witch. If you don't know about it, you need to. I've done a review on it. Check it out. It's pretty cool. It is an all-the-time vape for me, and it comes in these awesome little chubby gorilla unicorn bottles. I don't know if you can see the gorilla on the bottom of that guy. Let me get it oriented. There you go. See the little gorilla on there? It's pretty dope. But yeah, shameless plug, Eric at Marlin Steen. Please appreciate your life, man. Appreciate what you're doing with what you're doing. Man, that Drip Witch is good. Let me just enjoy this for a second. The waffle's perfect. Strawberry's amazing. Alright, now, back to what you're actually watching the video for. Mods. Alright, differences. So we've kind of gone from the starter kit style stuff, the entry-level style stuff. And what we're going to talk about next is something like this guy here. This is the eleaf iStick 100 TC with a Dark Horse RDA on there. Don't worry about what's on top of it. We're not talking about addies and tanks. We're talking about mods. We're talking about devices. And with this guy, this is a dual 18650, so it holds 2 batteries instead of a single like the Artery Vapor Summa over there. And what that does is it gets you more battery life. I know it doesn't take a genius to figure out, but 2 batteries, more battery life, more power output. Alright, this guy goes up to 100 watts with temperature control capabilities. And with these, you open up a wide world of different things you can do. I can take this Kanger sub-tank here, sub-tank mini, and throw it on here and run it just fine. Or I could take my Captain Cap with the old, I got a Mutation V3 deck in here. I can run this thing on here, no problem. TFV8, not really enough power for that guy, but a TFV4 all day. An Aspire Cleto sub-ohm tanks, you know, the Atlantis series. You've got a lot of versatility at this level. All right, and the reason is because you can adjust that wattage. You can put it where you want to. You can run some of the higher wattage stuff, or you can throw a Nautilus on here and bump it down to 12 watts and have at it for days. All right, it's totally possible. So when you move up to I don't want to say a box mod or something like that, but a device with a little bit more power, with a little bit more customization, a little bit more battery life, you open up a wide world. And it's also a great way to get introduced into the land of dripping. I know that's something I get asked about frequently up here at the shop. Hey man, I want to start dripping. What's the best way to do it? Let me get a simple mod and a troll. Nah, man, don't start with a simple mod and a troll. No, there are better ways. Here, why is this better, Will? Well, the reason it's better is because the device isn't going to let you do anything stupid. It's got a set resistance that you can build down to. And if it's lower than that resistance, it's not going to fire. It's not going to work. You can bring it up to the shop and have me look at it. I'm going to tell you, hey man, it's just built too low. This guy's stable down to a 0.10 ohms. 0.10, a tenth of an ohm. And the reason it does that is because that chip knows that it can safely fire a 0.1 ohm load, 0.1 ohms, up to 100 watts safely. Anything lower than that, it's not going to like. So it'll get you into the habit of building coils, building higher ohm coils instead of lower ohm coils, and it'll kind of get you acclimated to the care and upkeep of a rebuildable atomizer, checking your posts all the time, changing out your cotton, making sure that your coils are always pretty and happy, making sure the cotton's not gunky, making sure it stays juiced. It's a good way to get into the world of dripping. Now you say, but Will, I've been dripping on my Relo, or I've been dripping on my iStick. I'm ready for something else. I want to go a little bit deeper into the rabbit hole. Let me introduce you to the Tugboat Parallel Box Mod. Got the old Alliance V2 rocking on top of this guy with batteries in there, because it's hard to vape without batteries. And it's popping and crackling. Now what this guy is a fully mechanical box mod. With this guy, you'll notice there's no screen, there's no buttons beside the fire button, there's no adjustments here. Whatever the batteries have, that's what you're going to get. And the reason I say this is the next step is because now, instead of building a 3 ohm coil that you've always been used to building, throwing it on your box mod, turning it up to 120 watts and having fun, now you kind of have to focus a little bit more on what you're actually building. With these guys, it's going to act very much like a mechanical tube. Alright, except now we've got 2 batteries in a parallel circuit. Since these batteries are in a parallel circuit, you're going to double up a couple different things. You're going to double up your battery life, which is always good. That's the biggest problem with people in vaping, is they don't, charge their batteries. With this guy, you double up your battery life and you double up your amp draw. And your amp draw is your safety net for super sub-ohm vaping. That's what's going to keep this guy from, not being happy and popping and fizzing and off gassing, and it's just not good. So you double up that amp draw. So now that we can build lower ohm builds safely, or more safe, it's a whole lot easier. You have that safety net of that second battery. If you want to build a 0.1 or a 0.08 on this guy, it can take it. I wouldn't recommend it because this little guy has something in here called a MOSFET, but that's a whole nother video. So you can build lower on these devices and it's going to be safer because you have that extra safety net of that parallel circuit. Now, on the flip side, there's also something called a series box mod. In a series box mod, you double up one thing and one thing only, and that is your voltage. Instead of your batteries running at 4.2 volts, they're going to run at 8.4 volts. Now, with that being said, we've got to change some things. You know how we were building lower on this guy? Parallel box? That's cool. Building low on a series box? Not cool, man. Not cool. You do not build low on a series box. The lowest I would ever recommend that you ever build on a series device is a 0.3. Alright, let me repeat that one more time if you guys are at home taking notes. The lowest I would ever build on a series box is a 0.3. 3. That's it. That's the lowest you need to go because you're running at 8.4 volts. You've got all that energy going straight to those heating elements. You can have, 12 reps of 22 gauge or 12 reps of 24 gauge around a 3 millimeter bit dual coil, and that thing's going to light up like Christmas. Just done. It's on. All right. So on a series box, the game's a little different. You want to build lower. It's going to be more like you're building for your parallel box mod or for your regulated box mod. You want, to get that resistance up higher because you've got so much more power going to it. And now we're going to talk about these guys. Single 18650 mechanical tubes. I've seen people, look at my mechanical tube case and go, oh man, I'd never buy one of those. Those blow up. Or I'd look at them like, man, I've got a tube at home. It doesn't hit hard. It just doesn't do what I want it to do. I don't see how people are getting those big, huge clouds all the time. Well, it's because there's a little more science involved. And with that being said, we're going to get a little nerdy. We're going to get a little scientific. We're going to get a little educated here. So, with a mechanical tube, this guy is purely just that. It's a tube. You've got a top cap, a button, and a tube for your battery. And what happens is the tube itself is just literally a battery holder. Alright, so that guy goes right in just like that. Your button is what's actually going to make the contact to open and close the circuit. On the Able here, mine's very dirty, so please no nasty comments about how dirty this thing is. But it does have a locking switch, and what happens is when you push that button just like that, we'll flip it around here, it will raise that connection, touching the bottom of the battery, completing the circuit between the atomizer and the switch. Now, with that being said, the only safety net you have on this device, if something were to go wrong, is your battery. That's why we buy good batteries. In a mechanical tube, you really want a 30 amp battery, 25 amp or above. I recommend 30 amps if you got them. Probably not going to have the most milliamp hours to those batteries. 2500 milliamp hours on a 30 amp or a 25 amp battery is sufficient. At this level of vaping, you're going to kill batteries. You're going to go through 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 or 5 batteries a day. Just kind of depends on what your build's at and how much you're using it. And with these guys, you have to be safe. Alright? You have to. You don't have a choice. Now, people are always saying, hey Will, man, I want to, get this super low cloud chasing build. How low can I build? Not that low, guys. 0.08. 0.08 is all you need to blow clouds. Anything lower than that is just not very smart. The reason being is if we're going to talk about Ohm's law for a second. Now, Ohm's law is the law that tells us the relationship between a voltage, our resistance, our current, our amp draw that we're drawing. It tells us that correlation between those numbers. And what it all boils down to is your amp draw. That's what makes these things kind of dangerous, is people start asking too many amps from the battery and they just can't give it. Get you an Ohm's law calculator for your cell phone. Check out Ohm's law, V equals IR. I'm sure if you just Google Ohm's law, it'll bring it up. Go ask your high school physical science teacher. It's pretty. It's not. I don't want to say easy because it's not something we use all the time. But I've been using it daily for a long time, so it might be easy for me. But it's just different. This is applied knowledge that we were probably exposed to in high school and just didn't retain because we never used it. So what you want to look at is when you have your resistance, let's say you get your build together, you throw it onto your eleaf, and your eleaf tells you that it's a 0.1 ohm build. 0.1. So you go to your Ohm's law calculator, alright guys? You're going to put in 0.1 for your resistance. You're going to put in 4.2 volts for your voltage, and then you're going to hit calculate. And when it hits calculate, you want to look at the amp, alright, their amp draw. If it's anything over 25 or 30, you probably don't want to mess with that, man. Know your batteries, know what kind of batteries you have. A lot of people like to build super low on these, and you really don't have to. Mine's not low at all. Mine's a 0.09, and it seems to be working just fine. Let me get you a better angle of the vapor production, just because I haven't done this in a very long time. We're going to come right over here. So, vapor production is not always directly corresponded to a low resistance build. You don't need to build low. When you're building with these guys, it's all about surface area. Now, don't judge my build because I didn't plan on showing this off, but it just kind of worked into what I was rambling about. If you'll look, this is a 5-wrap 20 gauge Canthal build. All right, this guy came out to a .09. Let's say I were to do this build with some nichrome. With nichrome, it ohms out lower per foot, so I can get more wraps with the same set resistance and get more vapor. But we're going to make a whole nother video about that. These are just different kinds of devices. I would say that this is my favorite way to vape, most definitely. Probably the most popular way to vape amongst our customers and client base. And it's also the most kind of primitive way to vape, man. When I started vaping 5 years ago, it was on a mechanical tube with an RDA. It was a Sentinel and a Trident V1 that I paid way too much for. But that was a while back. We don't have to worry about those days anymore. This is the best way to get the best flavor. This is the best way to get the most vapor production if you know what you're doing. We educate people on this stuff every single day, guys. If you ever have any questions, come down to the shop. We're here all the time. Me and Brittany and Jonathan and Coop, we're always here. We're always here for you. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to hit us up on here. Hit us up on our Facebook. Come on by, swing on by the shop, try out some good stuff. Because, man, let me tell you, this drip witch, if you haven't had it, you need to have it. I'm just on that life today. I can't help myself. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. That's what I've got for you today. Of course, if you have any questions at all, please leave them down in the comment section, right down there. Please like and subscribe this video if you've subscribed to our channel. If you thought this video was helpful, you know, we do try to put good information out there and relative information of questions that we receive on a very common basis. So if you guys have any input on that, please hit us up. Let us know. Like, subscribe, and share to your friends. My name's Will Bolick. We're up here at the Mad Vapes in Knoxville, Tennessee, keeping it cloudy. Y'all, please be safe out there. All kinds of craziness happens every single day, so be safe and make good decisions. Always stay blessed. That is one of the most important things you can remember. And when you're hanging out with the buddies, just kind of hanging out, chilling, doing your thing. Maybe you're out here on Kingston Pike, kicking it with your buddies. Let's keep it cloudy. Guys, I don't know if I've said this enough, but please go check out CASA.org, Not Blowing Smoke, SFATA. There's a lot going on in the advocacy world right now. It's a pivotal moment for us, so please take some time, go to CASA.org, CASAA.org, check it out. They've got some things that you can do that will help in 15 minutes or less. So please like, share, subscribe, check out CASA, keep it cloudy. Guys, I'm out of here. I'm done talking. I'm sure you're done listening. We'll see you guys next time.